Today, I'm so glad that you are here. I'm so glad that you are choosing to invest in your mindset and your leadership today. My goal is to add value to you and for you to walk away from this time glad that you invested your time with me today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Dr. William Attaway. I'm an executive coach who specializes in mindset and leadership. I work with high-performing entrepreneurs, agency owners, founders, and their teams to help them to overcome the challenging situations that they often face and to help them develop clear-minded focus, calm control, and confidence that will lead them to achieve the goals that they know are possible. Mindset is 90% of why people are successful or not. I believe developing a healthy mindset is something that you can do, and I help leaders to do just that. If you are struggling with an unhealthy mindset, if you are struggling because you're overwhelmed with the chaos all around you, if you're struggling with focus and fighting with self-doubt and imposter syndrome and self-sabotage, I can help. I've been a student and practitioner of leadership for over 30 years, and I've been coaching leaders for nearly as long. My goal is to help you with the knowledge base that I have gathered, not only from my own leadership journey, but also from all of the leaders that I have coached over these decades. So let's get started today. I want to begin with a question. Have you ever scored an own goal in your business? You see it in soccer, you see it in hockey, you see it in football. A player gets turned around in the middle of the game in the heat of the moment and mistakenly scores a goal for the other team. So embarrassing, right? My wife and I were talking about own goals not long ago, and as we talked, I realized, they don't just happen in sports. They happen in business too. We've all been there. The worst part is it happens to everybody. A mistaken strategy, a misjudged decision, a botched execution, that's your own goal in business. What if there was a way to minimize or to even eliminate most of these own goals? Well, I believe there is. And that's what I want to share with you. I want to talk with you about the 4 keys that I use, 4 key steps that I use to minimize or to eliminate own goals in my business. And I want you to take these and use these to do the same with yours. There are some strategies that I believe can make a really big difference if you know what they are and you begin to implement them intentionally and consistently. By the way, if you're watching this on the replay, please type replay in the comments. I'd love to know you were here. I love to connect with new people. Own goals come at moments of confusion, right? Moments of high stress, moments of pressure. They don't come in the calm seas, either in sports or in business. They come in the middle of a storm, in the chaos, the high pressure of the moment. So let's dive in. The first key that I use to minimize or to eliminate own goals is my catalytic review. This is how it works. You have an appointment with yourself that you block out every week. Typically mine are on Sunday evenings. I'm going to think back over the previous 7 days. I'm going to think back and I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to look at every appointment. I'm going to think back over every meeting, look at my notes, and I'm going to ask these questions. What went right this week that I can celebrate? This is so often the step that we skip. But in doing so, we're not training ourselves to look for wins. I want to learn to look for wins. I want to recognize them when I see them. When you see a win, when you're evaluating, you say, what went right? And there's a win. I want you to capture it in a wins journal. I want you to capture this because over time, this is going to build a knowledge base that you can pull from, that you can go back to on those days when you really struggle, on those days when you're really challenged and you think, is this worth it? Can I even do this? Is it making a difference at all? Go to the wins journal, go to the data and see, oh yeah, and you re-celebrate the wins that you've experienced in the past. That's only possible if you capture these. And the catalytic review is when I capture my wins. What went right this week? The second question I ask during the catalytic review going back 7 days, what went wrong? What didn't go the way I expected? I want to evaluate that. I want to see and understand what went wrong. And then I ask, what would I do differently next time? How would I make it better? Going through and processing this learning is how this becomes available to you the next time you're in a similar situation. When you come to a similar situation in the future, you're going to have processed this learning, and this will be available to you. And you can say, oh, you know what? I know what I'm going to do here. I remember last time I did something different, didn't like that, processed it, thought next time I want to do it this way, and you will have already pre-decided how you're going to handle that situation. This is helpful. This is why the catalytic review is so helpful, because it prepares you for future situations, future conversations, future circumstances. That's going back 7 days. And then I want you to go forward 7 days. Look at every appointment, look at every meeting that you have scheduled on your calendar. And I want you to think about this. What do I need to prepare? What do I need to do in order to bring the best version of myself to that meeting? What do I need to do to bring the best version of myself into that conversation? What do I need to prepare? What do I need to think about? By deciding these things ahead of time, by preparing ahead of time, you're eliminating the possibility that you have to make a decision right in the moment. By pre-deciding what you're going to do in the calm of the catalytic review time, you minimize the likelihood of an own goal in the middle of a hectic week. So let me ask you, do you have a catalytic review that you do every week? Are you processing through questions like the ones I've given you today? Put your answer over in the chat. The second key that I use to minimize or eliminate own goals is my quarterly goals review. Now, this is part of the strata process that I laid out for you in my video in December. If you missed that, you can go back and watch it by going to my LinkedIn profile. I take my annual goals, where I want to be by December 31st this year, and then I break them down into quarterly targets. What do I need to achieve each quarter in order to be where I want to be by December 31st on each of my goals? Then I look each quarter and say, okay, how am I doing toward those targets? If I look at my progress each quarter and I'm not making good movement toward my goals, guess what? I can adjust. I can adapt my strategy. I can adapt my actions in order to gain more ground. But I won't know that unless I look and evaluate against my quarterly goals. So let me ask you, do you know your quarterly, your annual goals? And are you evaluating those each quarter to see what you need to continue doing, what you need to stop doing, and what you need to adjust? Put your answer over in the chat. I'd love to hear where you are on this. Do you know your numbers? Are you tracking your performance? Are you evaluating where you are so that you know what you need to adjust? The third key that I use is I leverage intentionally the one-on-one conversations that I have with my direct reports. I leverage those conversations that I have with the one-on-one meetings with my direct reports. In my one-on-one meetings, like most of us, I want to know what you're working on. I want to know where you're making progress toward your goals. I want to know where you're stuck, and I want to know where you need help. And that's pretty normal. I imagine most of us operate our one-on-one meetings that way. But I also want to get feedback from my team members around our execution and progress as a team. Are we hitting on all cylinders? Or are we swinging and missing somewhere? They might see something that I don't see. And if I don't ask, they might not share it. So I ask. I want to be intentional about asking so that I can get all the information that I need so that I can lead at a high level, at a high capacity. If I don't ask, I might not get the information. So let me ask you, are you asking your direct reports, are you asking your team where they are seeing own goals or potential own goals in your business? Are you asking the question? If you don't ask the question, you might not get the information. Put your answer over in the chat. Is this part of your culture? Is this part of how you operate? The fourth and last key that I use to minimize or eliminate own goals in my business is I seek counsel from a coach. I can't see the whole picture when I'm in the frame, and neither can you. None of us can. I need someone on the outside with an outside perspective who is going to ask me questions that maybe nobody else is going to ask me, who's going to help me see things that I cannot see on my own. My coaches are a very large part of why my business is where it is today. They challenge me, they stretch me, they encourage me, and they empower me in ways that I didn't even know I needed. They help me see what I can't see on my own. I've had coaches for many years in many different areas of my life and in my leadership. And the power of coaching is why I've been coaching leaders myself for almost 30 years now. Let me ask you, are you trying to do this on your own? Or are you leveraging the power of coaching to help you go farther than you've been so far? And to go faster than you might have ever thought possible? Are you leveraging the power of a coach to help you avoid a lot of the ditches that you would drive into on your own? Are you leveraging the power of coaching? Or are you trying to lead your team and lead your company yourself? Put your answer over in the chat. I'd love to hear what your biggest takeaway is from these 4 keys, from what I shared here today. I'd love you to type that over in the chat. What are you taking away from this time? And what are you going to do with it? That's the most important part. If you want some help implementing these strategies, if you want some help developing a customized leadership plan for you for 2024 to help you lead your team and your business at a level you might never have led at before, you can go to catalyticleadership.net and book a call with me. Let's talk. I want to help you move from where you are to where you want to be. I want to help you get unstuck. I want to help you get to the goals that you know are possible and help you achieve those in 2024 and beyond. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for investing in yourself like this. I do hope this has been helpful and informative. But remember, information without application is not effective. You have to take action. I challenge every client I work with, every client I coach, to take action. If you want different results, you have to do something different. And knowing what to do and when to do it matters. Keep learning, my friends. Keep growing. Be relentlessly intentional about clear-minded focus. Implement a catalytic review every week. Review your goals every quarter. Know your numbers. Be intentional about feedback from your team during your one-on-ones. And if you don't have a coach, find one. Choose a coach who is for you, who is going to help you achieve the goals that you have, who's going to help you find success according to your definition of success. Remember, nothing is going to change until you change it. And whatever you're not changing, you're choosing. Thanks again for your time today. I hope to connect with you soon. You have a great week.